Hello, this is Jennifer Tochi, and I'm doing my video for Slashback Saturday. And this week, it is Saturday, and I'm doing Slashback, so hey, that's good. It's through Horror Man's channel, and if you don't know about it, every week you pick out a slasher movie from your collection and review it. And each week has a different subject, slasher subject or challenge or whatever. Okay, and this week is... sorry, my neighbor has a weed whip out and another one has a mower out, yes. Yesterday, we couldn't even have our door open and we had the heater on. It was so cold. And today I can't keep my window closed or it gets too hot in here. Fun weather in Montana, yes. So, sorry, back, okay. A movie, free reign of any slasher movie, but it's one in your collection that you haven't seen. And so I went through my movies again to look for the subject, and I found it. I decided to do 2001 Maniacs with Robert Englund. I bought this about 5 years ago. It was $1 at Hastings, going out of business sale. And I thought, ooh, Robert Englund's in it. Ooh, the dude who plays Freddy. This I can put right next to my Nightmare on Elm Street shelf. Right next to my Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I put it there. Never really watched it. 5 years. Yes. So, Horror Man, you finally got me to watch it. The things Joe can make you do, huh? Okay, and I know this is a remake of the 2000 Maniacs, made in the 60s. I can't from the top of my mind remember what date that they made that in the 60s. That movie wasn't as gory and, I don't know, somewhat humorous gory like I like movies, but this one is. 2001 Maniacs, made in 2005, director Tim Sullivan, written by Tim Sullivan and Chris Coben. And I was watching this and I saw a lot of people showing up from Detroit Rock City, and I thought, maybe this had something to do with Detroit Rock City. By the way, I love Detroit Rock City. Yes, I do love Detroit Rock City. One of my favorite movies with bands in them. Not my most favorite musical, but I love Detroit Rock City too. I use that word so much, love. All you need is love. No, I don't go down the street singing that. And Tim Sullivan and Chris Coben. Stars Robert Englund as Mayor Buckman. Eli Roth, the producer, who is a great director, by the way. I like him. I like Hostel and Hostel 2 and all his other movies. But I didn't write them all down. He plays Justin. Lynn Shane from Detroit Rock City plays Granny Boone. Tim Sullivan, the director and writer, plays Coffin Harry. Ryan Fleming plays Huckleberry. A lot of people call him Huckleberry in this movie. But he's Huckleberry. Gillespie Andrews from Detroit Rock City plays Harper Alexander, the Southern gentleman who's not really that much of a gentleman. Sorry, I just watched a movie, so I have Southern accent will spill out every once in a while after watching that movie. And Brandon McCarthy plays Rufus. And Travis Tritt makes a little scene as a gas station attendant that waits on some people before they go somewhere scary. And he says something like, your toes will be sticking up like the daisies, or something like that. Funny. Come on, I can't remember every joke in this movie. And yes, 8. It's 8 strangers showing up after they see a detour sign show up in a city called Pleasant Valley. First car, they show up in 3 modes of transportation. 3 boys are on their way to Daytona Beach for spring break. And it's right after they get in trouble from their teacher. Sorry. For not behaving while watching a slideshow about the Civil War. And the other one is a boyfriend and girlfriend. All these people around college age. The other one is a boyfriend and girlfriend in a car, and then they have a friend in the car. And they show up there. They say, this is a ghost town. Nobody's here. And all of a sudden, Robert Englund with a Southern flag patch on his eye comes up out of nowhere, and he says, there's a sign above them that says Guts and Glory Jubilee. Yes. And Robert Englund says, Buckman's my name, Mayor's my game. And I think he's funny in this part. I like him. And they say, stay for a barbecue. And everybody thinks, free meal. Yay. So they take him to the hotel. And the lady named Granny Boone, who's played by Lynn Shay, plays the older innkeeper. And they keep calling her ma'am. And she says, no, my name is Granny. And they go to the hotel. And Granny Boone has told everybody in town to be nice. Be nice. Oh, I wore my Gone with the Wind earrings for this movie. All of a sudden, one would come out, wear my Gone with the Wind. And pre-warning, this movie is not politically correct. I will admit that. Because these are people. This is an old southern town where everybody, you found out later why they act this way. But it's not very politically correct, but I think it needs to be politically correct because of what it's about. So a little pre-warning there. Okay. And how do you get college people to stay in your hotel? My goodness. Sex. Yes. Oh, and I left one thing out. Two people show up on a motorcycle with helmets on, and they take their helmets off, and Robert Englund says, a Negro and a Chinaman. And it's a black guy on the front of the motorcycle, and behind him is a Chinese girl, and she says China woman when they say that, Chinaman. And they get invited to the hotel too. They tell them to be nice to them, but they're not treated as nice. Yes. So they're in the hotel, yes, and keep college kids I guess they have to use sex, and they do. I like the kills in this movie. I do. I think they're like funny and gory at the same time, which is what I like. And I think the gore is very realistic. You know, you don't see ketchup coming out of people or anything. It looks like real blood, and it turns out it is, because Tim Sullivan would run to the butcher shop and get cow parts and cow blood to do all these tricks. And yeah, the killings I liked. And most of them are like the ones in the 60s, but to a higher degree. A girl named Kat, she's drawn and quartered when she goes off to the southern gentleman. Harper, Alexander, and her name's Kat. She gets drawn and quartered, and she says right before she gets drawn and quartered, says, "This isn't very gentlemanly of you." And he says, "Frankly, Miss Pussy, I don't give a damn." It's like right after the kill, they make the joke. There. And the black guy gets killed in a cotton press. Rather ironic, isn't it? One of the guys from the car with the two guys and the girl, he gets a shearing rod up the butt. Yes. Like, not politically correct, but they have the little Liberty Bell come crashing down on the Chinese woman. And Granny Boone makes a joke of the China woman had a lot of guts. Yes. And then another girl, she kills a guy. The guy who really isn't getting any in the movie. He goes off with two girls. That's one part I don't like. Is when a guy goes off with two girls and it turns out they're kissing cousins. I think that scene takes up a little too much of the movie. The kissing cousins part, always kissing, and just skip to the next kill, why don't you? Yeah. And yeah, the guy who really isn't getting any gets something bit off of him with a girl who all of a sudden has a set of bullet dentures. Yes, bullet dentures to the crotch. Oh, and the joke made when the guy gets his scream rod up the butt. He says, Granny Boone says, Ricky on a sticky. And licks the end of the spike. Yes. And one part during the movie, the black guy is, I'm sorry, I do not. The normal people in this movie that get killed, I do not remember their names. I didn't even write them down. So I'm saying the black guy. The guy who's getting any, you know. Yeah, he's... I like their music in this movie. It's very... like they have the two guys following the black guy around. And with their banjos and guitar. And he's looking for his girlfriend and they're singing. The guy wants his bitch. The boy wants his bitch. The sad thing, a boy without a bitch. And what else we got? What else we got here? Okay. Yeah, and they're trying to keep him there. One by one, they're killing them off. What are they gonna do? They're gonna eat them? They're the main feast at the barbecue? Oh my goodness. Yes, and at the end of the movie, the boyfriend and girlfriend are still alive. And they've got him tied down in the middle of town. And you find out was raised Southern, so he's still got some of the politeness, the Southern politeness. So he now knows how to calm them down sometimes when the other people that show up aren't showing their manners. And so they say to him, prove that you haven't turned away from the South by killing your girlfriend. And of course he doesn't. He ends up getting in a fight with the mayor. Robert England ends up jumping off a stage over fire. And Robert England actually did this. And then I think if that was that long ago, he must be kind of a little old. But then I see, oh my gosh, this was made in 2005, which is 14 years ago. Yeah, I don't really...
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Sorry, that's my notice. So, what do you little maniacs like to do first? That's my notice on my phone. Okay, and so he tries to rescue her, but as they're in a fight... Oh, sorry, you didn't need to see my leg there. Okay. The people of the town are singing, the South's gonna rise, the South's gonna rise, the South's gonna rise again. Yes, but the The boyfriend ends up taking a fork and ripping off Robert England's patch. Maggots come falling out of the hole. And puts the fork to the mayor's other eye and says, "Let us go, or I will." Well, basically, he's going to take his other eye out. And Robert English says, "Not my good eye." And he said, "Well, then let us go." So they end up letting him go. And of course, they rush to the sheriff's office in the next town. They think, anyway. And the sheriff there, after they say that, he says, "I've got to show you something." And he does. And he takes them back to the town, Pleasant Valley. Says population 2001. Hence maybe the name, 2001 Maniacs. And it's a graveyard. Just an empty graveyard. And the sheriff says, "I'm tired of you college people coming in making these claims." And he takes them over to Headstone. And the headstone is carved with Robert England's face with his patch on and everything. And he says he died April 22nd, 1862. His town was invaded by General Sherman, and everybody died. And basically, the town thinks an eye for an eye. 2,000 people have died in 1862, and they're going to do their barbecue every year until they get up to 2001. An eye for an eye. Yes. And the boyfriend spits on the face on the headstone, and the sheriff squeals away in his car, and they have the motorcycle still, and they start leaving town. And then you hear a whisper, "An eye for an eye," and all of a sudden the motorcycle stops, and you see the boyfriend's head fall off, and you see the girl has a slice through here, and you see a bloody piece of barbed wire. And in comes good old Huckerbilly with the slingshot, and he hits the girl's head, and that falls to the ground too. And he picks up the girl's head, and I love it. And that's the end of the movie. Of course, he has to make a smart-ass comment afterwards, but that's the end of the movie. Huckerbilly walking down the street back into Pleasant Valley. And I did like this movie. I liked it better than the 60s one. I have not seen part 2 of this, which I don't know if I'll be that excited to get it. I'm very satisfied with this movie. I like it. I'll watch it again. So yes, Joe and all the rest of you, you got me to watch another one of my movies that I don't have, and now I like it. Yes. So that is the end of my Slashback Saturday video. Goodbye.